If you picture a prairie, what animals do you see there? Maybe it's bison munching on the grass, a meadowlark belting out a song. Those are like top prairie icons, right? Well, I want to tell you about a different prairie superstar. Let's start like this. Picture a predator. It's pushing its way through a thick patch of blue stem grasses. It's lurking, unseen.
They have a lot of streaking.
Yellow streaking.
Similar to like blades of grass.
Perfect prairie camouflage. And it is hungry. It's closing in on a nest full of meadowlark eggs.
They have great vision. They have great hearing. They have a great sense of smell. They're hyper aware of their habitat.
This is biologist Benjamin Reed. He knows exactly how hyper-vigilant these creatures are because he has the job of trying to catch them and put trackers on them. And that ain't easy because as soon as they sense him, they bolt.
I've literally had to dive. I have to do a sprint and dive headfirst and grab it before it launches itself penguin style down into a burrow that'll be so deep I can't get it.
We are talking about turtles. Specifically, we're talking about ornate box turtles. Think of them as like the turtle of the Great Plains.
It is the turtle of the Great Plains.
This critter, it is a survivor.
They eat everything.
Dead animals, berries, mushrooms, whatever. And it has got skills. In the winter, it might escape the cold by hiding in a fox den. In the summer, it might angle for a meal by hanging out under swallow colonies, waiting for unlucky baby birds to tumble down from their nests.
And often they get injured or harmed when they fall, and the turtles would congregate and eat the fledglings. So turtles are not just eating bird eggs, they'll eat actual birds.
Ben is like a box turtle super spy. He even snoops on them when they retreat underground part of the year.
We put fiber optic cable with a camera into these burrows.
You are spying on turtles in the winter?
Yes.
He's been surveilling ornate box turtles for 13 years. And yet, they still constantly surprise him. Like how they loiter below swallow colonies.
Who knew?
Ben only found out because a bird researcher who watches swallow nests told him. Point is, box turtles are resourceful and spunky.
One of my students, Madeline Holter, found a box turtle sparring with a crayfish out in a prairie. It's a prairie crayfish.
Was the crayfish in a pond?
No. This is a prairie crayfish. My student Madeline got a beautiful video of the turtle basically attacking and eating this crayfish, which I'd never seen before.
That video is amazing, by the way. We will link to it in the show notes. You do that field research at undisclosed locations in Kansas and Nebraska. Why are they undisclosed?
So, unfortunately, box turtles, amongst other things, are a really pretty turtle. Each turtle is visually unique. Some turtles are streaky, some are more speckled. They have a very nice look about them, which is part of their downfall. Their plight is people collect them overseas like they're baseball cards. They don't even care about the turtle, they just want the shell. We have to be really careful. If people learn the locations of our box turtle populations, that could open it up to poaching.
So, okay, if you're listening to this podcast and you're a poacher, stop doing that, obviously. But I'm guessing you are not a poacher, which, thank you, because these charming little creatures could really use our help.
Yeah, I have like a laundry list of things people can do to like help turtles.
From Harvest Public Media and KCUR Studios, you're listening to Up From Dust. I'm Celia Yopis-Jepsen. Box turtles are cute. They are fun to watch, an absolute delight to spot on a walk through the countryside, if you're lucky enough to see one. But Benjamin Reed has a message. They're also complex and widely misunderstood. Today's world is throwing daunting challenges at these creatures. Roads, lawnmowers, poachers, climate change. It's making it harder and harder for them to survive. If we pay them more attention, though, learn what these creatures need and how we can help them thrive, it could make a difference for their chances. And Ben thinks the time to do that is now, while some parts of the Midwest and Great Plains still have healthy populations that could help ensure their future. Okay, a quick primer on box turtles.
Yeah, so there are many different types of turtles. There's about 350 some in the world.
Box turtles are one small category out of that 350, and the focus of Ben's research. He's a biology professor at Washburn University in Topeka, Kansas. So, box turtles live in Asia and North America with a handful of species in the U.S.
There's some debate, but around 5 species of box turtles in the U.S. And I study the ornate box turtle and the three-toed box turtle.
The three-toed hangs out in forests in the eastern half of the U.S., and the ornate box turtle, its jam is prairies.
Short grass prairie, mixed grass prairies, tall grass prairies, sand sage prairies.
And we'll focus on the ornate box turtle today, found from the high plains of Colorado eastward to Indiana, and from South Dakota in the north all the way down into Mexico.
They're small. They're only 3 to 5 inches long typically.
The shell is that long. And I always thought they're box turtles because of the shape.
Yeah, so the shell itself is high dome.
It's kind of boxy, right? But the name's actually about this.
They literally can box up. They can completely enclose themselves inside their shell.
So on their underside,
they have a hinge
to pull the shell beneath them tight against their upper shell.
So that the turtle can tuck in its legs, tail, and head, and then close the hinge and be fully enclosed.
And when they close, they close.
They're so strong, they're so muscular that if they decide to box themselves up, you're not going to be able to pry them open. A human can't do it, a raccoon can't do it. They can completely seal themselves off.
This way, they can just outweight a coyote or whatever, and the worst that'll happen is some teeth marks on the shell, but they'll be okay, which is no doubt why Ben has found them bravely sharing burrows with some impressive predators, even with badgers. Badgers are intimidating creatures. A badger surely thinks a box turtle is a delicious snack.
Yeah, I thought that a long time before I saw a turtle sitting on a burrow and a badger was also sitting next to it.
Kind of ingenious, right?
It really is. Other turtles cannot, pull themselves into their shell and then close it off.
And their box trick is millions of years old. Modern turtles are just like prehistoric turtles, and Ben has loved that since he was a kid.
I've basically wanted to study turtles since I was 6 or 7 years old. I learned very early, very young, that turtles outlive dinosaurs. And most kids, growing up, they love dinosaurs. And I just skipped that totally and went straight to turtles because I thought it was so cool that they outlived the dinosaurs.
He stuffed a 3-ring binder full of turtle facts and stories. He could not get enough.
I had a phenomenal librarian in elementary school who got me all these turtle books.
And box turtles sounded cool, but he didn't see them in the books much.
I could always find books on sea turtles. You can go anywhere and find a book on sea turtles. Go to a bookstore, you'll find one on sea turtles. You can find one on tortoises. You can't find one on box turtles.
His curiosity stuck. And before you know it, adult Ben is leaving Pennsylvania for Nebraska to do a PhD in, essentially, box turtles and their lives on the high plains. And after 13 years of turtle spying with the help of his fantastic students at Washburn, Ben's here to say we have a lot of misconceptions about these animals.
We have this misperception about box turtles being sort of slow and lethargic creatures.
Maybe you've seen them as pets, just sitting there in a terrarium, or maybe you've stopped to move one on the road and all you really got to see was how it locked up in its shell. Well, when they are out there on the prairie, in their element, they are on the go.
If you're out in the wild actually watching and tracking movements of box turtles, they are a very active creature.
And alert. My gosh, as Ben said earlier, when catching them to put on transmitters, he has literally had to dive for them.
They can run. They do run.
No, they can't run like a mountain lion, obviously. But they know all the nearby hidey holes, and they can book it surprisingly fast to the nearest one. I'm gonna cop to this next misconception. The first time I saw an ornate box turtle while I was hiking a prairie with no water anywhere in sight, I was baffled. But the thing is, these are not pond or lake or river dwellers. The most they seem to enjoy is an occasional little dip.
We find them often just sitting in a couple inches of water, just kind of like a little spa day, I guess.
Third misconception. oh, they're so small and slow, they probably don't really go anywhere. Okay, some ornate box turtles will stick to a home range about the size of half a football field, which still seems big to me, but others...
Every year, we have turtles that are covering areas that are about the size of 100 football fields, which is huge.
130 acres, in fact. Now, on the prairie, all these turtles, their ranges overlap, and they don't defend them like territories. So you have some turtles, they wander the same 130 acres year after year. And then others, they stick to just a fraction as much land. But that's not the only difference among them. These turtles are all very much their own turtle. Like, some traverse their whole range nonstop. They're like all over the place. Others kind of rotate. They visit different parts of their range in different seasons.
Almost like clockwork.
Same pattern year after year. And to be clear, this is not a male versus female behavior.
Some males move a lot, some males move very little, and the same is true for females.
Some ornate box turtles overwinter together in burrows. Others, they like to go it alone. Some will even hang out regularly, like year-round, and they aren't even mates.
No, it's often same-sex sort of pairings, like two males or two females.
That just seem to follow each other.
I would, be called a bad scientist, but some people would say they might be friend turtles.
And all of this fascinates Ben because, as I told you, he's a turtle expert. But there's a detail I left out. He's a behavioral ecologist.
I focus a lot on animal personality, which is also a growing field within the discipline of animal behavior. That's sort of the field that was championed by Jane Goodall.
More on the secret life of box turtles after this. There's no getting around it. Ornate box turtles seem to have personalities. They're all kind of wandering through life with their own playbook, on their own terms. Ben and his students measure their traits, like risk aversion and activity levels.
I like to call it the laziness index. So, just like humans, like some people are more sort of, happy to sort of lounge around, and other humans want to be doing something all the time, busybodies.
You can totally see it in there every day. Some of the turtles seem to like trying new foods. Others, they just want to eat what they already know. Some are shy and they're always playing it safe. Others are like adventure turtles.
Every day we find a turtle doing something different. So, my favorite thing is to find lost turtles. What often will happen is we'll put a transmitter on a turtle and we'll track it, and we'll just get years of data on it. And then for some reason, the radio transmitter that we put on the turtle just basically dies prematurely.
That can mean a lot of things. Maybe it's just a malfunction and the turtle's fine. Maybe the turtle's not fine.
It could be someone takes it. It could be that the turtle got ran over by a car and maybe smashed its transmitter.
You just don't know.
And so there are particular turtles that we have a lot of data on that we try to re-find. And one of them was male 8. He's a turtle in Nebraska.
And this particular turtle...
he had the tiniest home range.
So probably easy to find, right? Except...
he's also like the shyest turtle based on our behavior assay. Like, I can objectively say he's like the shyest turtle I've ever tracked out there. And I spent 4 years looking for this turtle. And for 4 years, I couldn't find him.
Ben was like, okay, I'll just check this one yucca plant one more time.
And honestly, that yucca I checked 1,000 times before, and because I knew that was the one yucca he liked.
It finally paid off, lurking beneath the spiky leaves.
And I just saw a little speck of his shell. Year 5 of him being missing, I found him. Right exactly where he had been his whole life.
Male 8 got a new transmitter, and Ben's team got to celebrate.
Absolutely. We yell and we shout and we get real excited when we find lost turtles, definitely. It's literally like finding a needle in a haystack, only the needle's trying to hide.
I've never met male 8, obviously, but I find myself cheering for him too, because ornate box turtles are just so clearly up against it in today's world. Scientists are trying to figure out how bad the situation is, but it is hard to pin down because there aren't a ton of scientists out there tracking ornate box turtles the way Ben and his students do, and the data on these animals doesn't go back very far in time. Still, there is some data, and the signs are not good.
Everywhere that people have the data to show, they're declining or at best stable, and then with a caveat likely to be declining. There's research on various states that have historical data that have shown ornate box turtles have declined. There's one well-studied population here in Kansas that population is now just totally gone. It doesn't exist anymore.
So that's the data. Then there's the anecdotal evidence.
So I give a lot of presentations to a lot of groups, Audubon societies, wildlife groups, and every time I give a presentation, I have more than one person who tells me, I used to see box turtles all the time, and now I don't see them at all. They're sad about it.
The stories usually sound something like this.
We used to have turtles everywhere. They would be in the garden. They would be under the bushes.
This is a homeowner testifying to Kansas lawmakers.
It was common for my husband to pick one up, bring it, show it to our daughter. We were always going out to check them.
And she's making a plea.
And it's pretty rare that we see them now.
Saying, look, we've lived here 30 years on prairie grassland, an undeveloped area.
We're talking 1,200 acres.
And the turtles are disappearing.
And I would tell you that to me it's significant because in the area that I live in, it is unchanged. Nobody farms there. Most of it is truly grassland.
This was at a hearing in 2022 to consider tighter rules for taking ornate box turtles out of the wild. Ultimately, the state's wildlife commissioners did lower the number you're allowed to possess from 5 to 2 for this species and for most reptiles and amphibians, which I will say was not without debate. Because beyond the issue of illegal poaching, in some states, people also legally take these animals from the wild as pets or as a hobby. But it's clear that ornate box turtles are facing a whole host of very daunting challenges. Here's the short list. First, habitat loss. Most of North America's prairies are long gone, and we're losing more at a fast clip.
And that's their habitat.
In 2022 alone, nearly 2 million acres of Great Plains grasslands were plowed under to make room for more crops. That's according to the World Wildlife Fund. Next up, more predators.
So armadillos are, with climate change, their range is moving north, and they are big-time nest predators, and they'll dig up turtle nests and eat the eggs.
Plus, climate change could actually skew the ratio of male to female turtles because eggs develop into a male or female based on temps in the nest. Then there are the cars.
Yeah, so I'm sure we've all seen driving around in the Midwest dead turtles on the road.
These turtles survive winter in burrows. It's called brumation. It might be in a hole they dug or a fox or badger burrow, but often it's a spot that's well outside their home range and they've got to get there.
We regularly have turtles that travel like 10, 15 football field lengths to get to a brumation spot, and so that often includes crossing roads.
So a lot of them get killed, and females also get killed trying to reach their nesting sites. Okay, poaching.
And this is illegal activity.
Poachers sell them, often internationally, as pets or for shell collections, meat, traditional remedies. And poachers sometimes get caught with dozens or hundreds of box turtles, but most probably get away with it. Next issue, legal taking. It's common in the Great Plains states to take a box turtle home if you spot one and put it in a tank.
Or in the backyard.
Ben does not recommend this.
I've had a lot of stories about people's pet turtles dying.
Dozens of students have told him their own box turtle stories from childhood. How when they were kids, their box turtles died. And it can be something like malnutrition.
They need so much variability in their diet.
Or often people put the turtle into water.
As though it was an aquatic turtle.
Which actually kills this species. And the problem is, ornate box turtles, they ain't rabbits. They have to reach 10 years old before they even start reproducing. So when we take one of these out of the wild...
That's one less male to inseminate a female. That's one less female to lay eggs.
And in Ben's experience, the females only lay 1 to 3 eggs every couple years.
So it takes a long time for a turtle to replace the reproducing turtle that has been taken from the wild.
Okay. Moving on, turtle racing.
So turtle racing is this sort of Midwest phenomenon where people collect box turtles.
Events at local fairs and such where everyone brings a box turtle they found in the wild. You're hearing a tub full of box turtles being dumped out onto a lawn. There are numbers painted on their shells, and whoever's turtle wins the race, that person wins. No one knows how the turtles fare after the race. Putting lots of turtles together in tubs could maybe spread disease. The turtles can be in captivity for days or weeks leading up to these races, possibly without proper nutrition, because remember, these animals eat a very mixed diet, everything from crayfish to flowers to fungi. And then it's not clear if the turtles get returned to their specific home ranges, where they know how to find food, survive the winter, etc. That video you heard was from the Turtle Conservation Group, which is trying to figure out what this tradition is doing to turtle populations. They attend races, gather data, and they estimate that thousands of turtles, upwards of 10,000 turtles, get plucked from the wild each year for these races, mostly in the Midwest and Great Plains. And at least when they studied the races in 2021, most of the turtles were box turtles. All right, so why do box turtles matter? When box turtles vanish, it impacts the food web. They help fungi spread and plants.
A lot of seeds really only will germinate after they pass through the gut of an animal.
And they clean up nature's messes.
They eat dead stuff, so they're really important for keeping the ecosystem clean of disease spread.
And I don't know how to put this delicately, but they themselves are also a protein-packed, calcium-rich food for other hungry animals out there on the prairie. I mean, not so much the adult turtles with their hard shells, but
the young turtles can get eaten by everything. There's like a chicken nugget walking around out there.
Surrounded by chicken nugget connoisseurs.
Coyotes, raccoons, skunks, foxes, badgers, various birds of prey.
So yeah, they're part of the food web. And therefore, suffice it to say, most baby turtles don't survive into adulthood.
Yes. So if you can get out of chicken nugget phase, you're now a really important turtle.
You're a big deal to your species' future, a successful and venerable survivor.
With the hopes that one or maybe two of your babies in your entire lifetime also will make it to adulthood.
If you, like Ben, are now fully enthralled with ornate box turtles, you may be wondering what you can do to help them out. So let's dive in. Number one, and at the risk of upsetting folks who love to take wild turtles home,
what I'm trying to convince people to do is maybe enjoy these turtles out in the wild and not take them home as pets.
Or maybe visit your local zoo to see them, or better yet, adopt an injured turtle.
There are always turtles that need rehomed from rehabilitation. So turtles that are hit by cars will end up with fractured shells or broken or missing legs. And I know a lot of box turtle rehabilitators, and they're always saying, boy, I wish we had people that would take our rehabilitated turtles instead of a wild turtle.
And a rehabilitator can teach you how to care for it properly. Number two. Okay, so don't take ornate box turtles home, but Ben does recommend picking them up and moving them in one specific instance, helping them cross the road, if it's safe for you to do so.
If you can, safely stop and then help the turtle across the road.
Help them in their chosen direction, even if it does not seem like a good direction.
Turtles are, I'm going to use an anthropomorphic term, stubborn. So if you send them in the opposite direction they were going, they're probably going to turn around and try to cross again. They know what they're looking for.
Number three. This one would involve more of a community effort, but if we could make it easier to cross our roads, that would help. That could be like occasional breaks in the steep curbs where a sloped surface would let turtles that are stuck on the street climb up off the street, or passages under roads.
Just culverts under roads would do a huge amount for many, many species.
Number four,
planting native plants. That's always good.
Whether it's your yard, a local park, a pasture, the margins around roads and crops, the more native plants we've got, the more shelter and food there is for wildlife. Not sure where to start? We've got an episode on that. We will put it in the show notes. Number five, Don't mow your grass so short.
Raise the mower deck taller than the turtle. You would not believe the number of turtles we find mowed over and killed.
So raise that deck 4 or 5 inches off the ground. Also for roadside ditches.
Convincing the state or city to also raise their decks just a little bit. A lot of turtles just live along roads, and we know this because we track them. They live on these edges because there's habitat.
Same goes for cutting hay fields, although Ben gets it that this does reduce people's hay yield.
If you just raise it like a couple more inches, a lot of wildlife could sneak under your balers. That could go a long way because there's huge fields out there that are hayed that in theory could be viable turtle habitat.
Number 6 relates to how we burn prairies. Fire is a key ingredient in prairie ecology, but Ben says there are ways to do it without wiping out an area's turtles.
So I would definitely encourage people to think about when they're burning, maybe burn between mid-November to mid-March.
When the turtles are underground. Or if that's not possible, another option is burning some patches of prairie and leaving others unburned as havens. This is a recognized technique, and it is called patch burning. Number 7, supporting conservation efforts.
Protecting lands and that type of thing. All those things help everything else, too.
Box turtles and plenty of other creatures will not survive if everything becomes suburbs and cornfields. I won't sugarcoat it. This list of challenges that box turtles are facing, to me, it feels super daunting. And obviously to Ben as well.
There's some that are going to be far more challenging to address, like climate change.
But he says the good news is there are still places with lots of turtles. And that's why Ben wants to educate people about them and take action before it's too late.
There are things that we can do that I believe would help at least slow down the rate of loss across their range. Not everybody's going to be able to buy a tract of 100 acres of property to, have a turtle sanctuary. I can't do that. So I wish I could, but there's still small steps, small things that we can do that I think would matter and help. Not taking them as pets, not doing the turtle races, helping them across the roads. Simple things. Just like when we talk about recycling, hey, recycle your plastic bottle. That's kind of my mentality. Well, if everybody does their little part, that can go a long way.
Up From Dust is a production of KCUR Studios and Harvest Public Media, created by the Kansas News Service. This episode was reported, written, and mixed by me, Celia Yopis Jepsen. My editor is Mackenzie Martin. Special thanks to KPR in Lawrence for access to their studio. Music provided by David Condos, Tom Lonnie, Milktooth, and Blue Dot Sessions. Sound effects from Pixabay. Next time on Up From Dust, what if the thing you're scared of gets in the way of the things you love, being outdoors in nature? We have a story about tackling a phobia. If you like this podcast, we would love it if you would share it with a friend or leave us a review. It helps us reach new ears, and we really appreciate it. Till next time, thanks for listening.